the fool that doesn't belong to this era, the mysterious ruler above the gray fog, the king of yellow and black who wields good luck. Okay, those three chilling lines, they aren't just some poetic verse. They are actually a direct, highly perilous line to an ancient cosmic entity.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are decoding one of the most enigmatic and honestly intricately structured secret societies ever conceived, the Tarot Club. Let's just jump right into these mysteries above the gray fog.
Now, to truly grasp what the Tarot Club is all about, we first have to talk about where they meet. This gathering place is Sephora Castle, which most people just call the Gray Fog. And listen, this isn't your standard underground bunker or shadowy boardroom. It's literally a boundless, ethereal dimension hovering completely above the spirit world. Picture this vast, lofty space dominated by a magnificent, towering palace that looks like it was built for giants millions of years ago. Add in these deep, observing crimson stars all around, and you get this incredibly ancient, deeply atmospheric setting.
But here's the catch. Reaching this space, it is a grueling physical ordeal. You can't just open a door and stroll in. Entering the gray fog subjects you to ferocious noises and these absolutely heart-stirring roars. We're talking about an agonizing, throbbing pain that can literally drive a person manic, totally irrational, and lost in chaotic confusion. It takes immense mental fortitude, specifically entering a state of cognition, just to quiet those maddening murmurs that echo around you like the tides.
Okay, so let's say you actually managed to survive that maddening entry. You'd find yourself inside that giant's palace, sitting at a long, modeled bronze table surrounded by 22 high-back chairs. But you're not alone in there. Your attention would instantly be drawn to the mysterious orchestrator seated right at the seat of honor, perfectly enveloped in thick gray fog, just silently observing his visitors.
The members of this gathering know this terrifying, unfathomable entity by a very specific designation. Drawing from the 22 major arcana tarot cards, he took the title of the Fool. And to the outside world, and absolutely to those members sitting at that bronze table, the Fool appears to be an ancient, godlike being. They think he's some deity awakening from a long slumber, wielding unimaginable cosmic power.
But here is the absolute best part. And it's where the dramatic irony of the whole setup is just fantastic. The truth behind the terrifying Fool? He is actually a transmigrator from the modern era named Zoming Rui, who woke up in the body of Klein Moretti. He's just a low-level beyonder on the seer pathway, which is his evolutionary magic route, who accidentally triggered a ritual that sent his consciousness up into this fog. So he is basically operating this imposing god persona like a high-level Smurf account on an internet forum. He's faking omniscience just to survive, gather information, and hopefully find a way back home, all while internally panicking every single time someone asks him a tough mystical question.
Because of this, the Tarot Club wasn't exactly some grand master plan. It started totally by accident. Klein was experimenting in the gray fog, touched two of those deep crimson stars, and unexpectedly pulled two distinct figures from the physical world right up into this cosmic space. These two mortals became the founding members, deciding to take the designations Justice and the Hanged Man.
And talk about a diverse boardroom. The dynamic of the club was built on this stark contrast right from day one. On one side, we have Justice, who is actually Audrey Hall, widely known as Backland's most dazzling gem. She's a very sheltered, wealthy, aristocratic girl walking the visionary pathway. And on the exact opposite side, the Hanged Man. This is Alger Wilson, the hardened, seafaring captain of the Blue Avenger and a beyonder of the Hanged Man pathway. So you have a totally innocent, curious aristocrat sitting right across from a dangerous, seasoned captain.
It's actually kind of funny how these two founding members perceive their host. There's this huge duality. Audrey is genuinely excited. She's cheekily smiling, eagerly picking out her codename from the tarot deck, treating the whole thing almost like a thrilling game. Alger, however, he is sweating bullets. He's deeply calculating, thinking to himself that the Fool might not even possess a human form. He's constantly worrying about stepping out of line and provoking an entity he genuinely believes is close to the level of the true creator.
Now, you might be wondering, and our sources address this beautifully, how do these mortals actually communicate with the gray fog when they aren't actively being summoned? I mean, if Alger needs to request a leave of absence or Audrey wants to share some intel, it's not like they can just send a telegram to another dimension, right?
Well, Klein had a brilliant stroke of insight here. He realized, sure, he couldn't build an actual server-based internet by hand in a Victorian-era world, but he could use ritualistic magic. He figured out that by crafting a highly specific 3-line incantation directed strictly at himself, the Fool,
He could essentially use the gray fog as an offline instant messaging system. When they cast the ritual, the message gets uploaded to the fog, and he just reads it the next time he logs in. It's genius.
So the methodology they use is perfectly structured and very precise. First, the member has to enter that state of cogitation, letting their mind go blank to connect their spirituality. Second, they walk exactly 4 steps counterclockwise to form a square. Third, they recite that exact incantation we heard at the beginning, the fool that doesn't belong to this era. And fourth, their spirituality ties to the fog, instantly uploading their prayer directly to the bronze table.
And with this communication network firmly established, we start to see the first deliberate expansion of the club. Klein actively recruits a new member through this exact prayer mechanism. And honestly, this brings a completely new and frankly pretty tragic element to the table.
The new prayers that Klein hears are echoing in an ancient language called Jotun, and they originate from a place called the City of Silver. Now, this isn't just another town on the map. It's a cursed, forsaken land that has been trapped in a literal dark age for 2,582 years. They have absolutely zero natural sunlight. They literally call periods of frequent lightning strikes day, and the terrifying darkness when the lightning finally stops, they call night.
From this incredibly desolate place comes Derrick Berg, who takes on the tarot card, the Sun. He's a young elder of the City of Silver and a beyonder of the Sun pathway. During their very first meeting, Audrey, using her spectator abilities, keenly and accurately assesses his body language as that of a restrained, solitary lone wolf. But Derrick brings immense value to the group because he trades the ancient, uncorrupted history of his forgotten land in exchange for the fool's salvation.
When Klein just suddenly pulled Derrick into the gathering, the reactions from the founding members were absolutely priceless. Audrey was shocked but totally thrilled, feeling like she was the protagonist in the middle of some epic story. Alger, on the other hand, was internally exasperated that the fool didn't even give them a heads up. But he quickly humbled himself. He realized that a great figure like Mr. Fool doesn't need to care about the feelings of mere mortals. And just like that, it perfectly cemented Klein's unquestionable authority.
So, what does this club actually do when they gather around that table? Put simply, they exchange secrets. Every single member brings completely unique resources to that long bronze table. Audrey brings her vast wealth and backland high society connections. Alger brings crucial intelligence from the sea and the Church of Storms. Derrick brings lost ancient history and monster formulas. And Klein? Well, Klein facilitates the whole thing, secretly absorbing all their knowledge so he can survive his own perilous life back in the real world.
So, looking at our core roster, they form this highly intricate web of power. We have our founder, Klein Moretti, as the Fool, walking the seer pathway. Audrey Hall as Justice on the Visionary pathway. Alger Wilson as the Hanged Man on the Hanged Man pathway, and Derrick Berg as the Sun on the Sun pathway. It is such an incredibly intricate magic system. Seeing how these distinct pathways and wildly diverse personalities interact under the watchful, godlike gaze of Klein is honestly just masterfully structured storytelling.
Which brings us to a final, really provocative thought. The entire tarot club is basically built on a magnificent, teetering house of cards. Klein is managing to fake godhood through quick wit, the natural intimidation factor of the gray fog, and, let's be honest, a whole lot of luck. But as this club inevitably grows, and as these members become vastly more powerful, what exactly happens when they discover the true nature of their all-powerful god? It's a cosmic mystery that is sure to keep you absolutely captivated. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep seeking the truth, and I'll catch you next time.